This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with the Lockpicker. Today's guest in person and in studio is SeeStuDo. Say hi.
Hi.
So, you got the in-person tour of the TLP Lock Lab. What'd you think?
You explained what was here before I came here, and I dreamed of this like Lock Lab heaven, and it was kind of like five times past what anything I dreamed of.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So obviously I'm from Michigan and you're from Michigan, but tell us a little bit about where you're from in Michigan. A little history.
I grew up. I was born in the early '70s, so I'm over 50. I grew up in Ferndale on the infamous 8 Mile from the M&M, association. And then I moved around Metro Detroit for most of my early couple decades. Left the state, bounced around Houston and Sacramento for about 17 years before coming back to Michigan and settling in the Flint area.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully we can get something going in the local area here. That would be really cool.
Absolutely.
So okay, so just in case people wonder, what do you prefer to people to refer you as? SeeStuDo, Stu, or Charles? Because you have that both on your
Right, and
YouTube channel.
people ask like, how did you? If your name's Charles, how did you get Stu? Well, my middle name's Stewart. My first initial C, so C Stu, and then I do a lot of different
Okay.
stuff. I like wordplay, and when I was looking up lockpicker name kind of thing, the first one I kind of looked up, Lockchuck sort of had. The second one I looked up, lockpicking hippie had, and I went through dozens, and I couldn't find a name that wasn't like unique. So I just kind of fell back to that. I prefer Stu when I'm involved with this, but I don't really care. I'm easy about it.
Just don't call you Charles.
Yeah, Chuck. Chuck. No,
Chuck,
you can
Chuck.
call me Charles. Chuck. I grew up as Chuck, and I hated it. So yeah, don't call me Chuck.
Okay, no problem. So, how and when did you get into locksport?
The in February basically, and it happened because I bought the cheap set from Amazon with the clear plastic locks a couple years ago for my daughter for Christmas. She never got around to using it, and this beginning of this year, my son was interested. Kind of we were talking about. I was telling him about lockpicking lawyer and Bosnian Bill because I've been watching for years actually, and I sent him I bought and sent him this Genesis set with some other stuff. He ended up not getting the package. It came back to me, so I kind of had both sets back in my hands. And once I had that Genesis set back in my hands, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull it out and start seeing if I can figure it out. And then I've been running since.
Now you still have Covert Instruments as one of your favorites, but what else? What other picks have you tried?
I've been lucky, and I mean, winning a contest and getting some things sent to me and from various sources. I've been able to. I have some Jimmy Longs. I've been able to use a couple Rob Lawns, some multi-pick rakes and picks. I think that's it. There might be something. Some sparrows, some rakes, and one monkey paw from sparrows. So
Okay,
I've been able to kind of run try out a lot of different things before I'm even really in good with any one of them. I'm switching
trying
from
different
this to
things.
that, yeah. So, but
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So, in your initial journey in learning lockpicking and getting into the lock sport, what were some of the challenges that you faced learning lockpicking?
I first of all, I could not, and I still not any good at it. Bottom of the keyway turning. I couldn't, so I had to take the Z bar or whatever that is with the Genesis set and go from the top, and I was not able to pick up, so I had to pick down. So I kind of was, and I was all turned around. So every time I was watching everybody, like everything I was doing was wrong. And I'm building those habits, trying to be able to get into the lock at the same time as I'm starting to understand what you're supposed to do or what's probably going to be better for you. Not supposed to. Everyone's got their different thing, but I'd start trying to adjust, and every time I switch the keyway or the turner or this or that, it would throw my whole game off. And my game was very little, so it's frustrating to only have a little bit of progress, make a change, and then feel like you lost all that progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you mentioned a little bit earlier about some people on YouTube that you had gotten into. Who would you say were your biggest influencers from YouTube?
Like I said, I've been watching Lockpicking Lawyer since before they launched Covert. And then that led me to Bosnian Bill just from him mentioning him in the picks and stuff like that. Ended up finding Lock Noob. I was really interested in anyone that was showing the insides of the locks, the mechanics, on top of just picking. I like the all of the theory and the understanding, the engineering, the ways you could make things yourself to
Mm-hmm.
defeat these things. And even at the time, like, I didn't know what a dimple lock was, or I barely knew what a lever lock was, and so even seeing a video of that was, odd and new.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys really provided a lot of, broad look at all the different things that are going on or the different things you can do. And then as I was coming into this year, I'd watched it enough. I was getting so many suggestions. I don't even know who I watch. I know Lady Locks was one of the earlier ones that
Mm-hmm.
I first started watching.
Good one to
Obviously,
watch.
it was a woman picking, so you remember her kind of
Yep.
quick.
Yep.
And then I ended up finding all the guys from England and a bunch of cats from here and Lockchuck and all, so
Yep.
it's been wild trying to even find everybody or remember who everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting, I've been sorting it all out this last like 4 weeks and starting to know.
Yep. Okay, so how would you say you were initially introduced into the community? I mean, how did that first leap happen, and then where did you go from there?
Uh, the initial, it's Adam Harris, the comp guy. Absolutely. I was one of the guys I found and left a few comments on his video. He always, responds, interacts. If you asked a question, he answered it. If you made a joke, he, joked with you. And then first guy to sub me as a lock picker kind of thing. So I was turning my channel over from a failed like gardening channel from a couple of years. I had like 20 subscribers like lingering. And then he did a video to like introduce me to anyone that he knew or was following him, and from there, like Lock Junkie and Southpaw Pete and Dog Picking Locksport, and whether they found me or I found them, but that was like that early clump that came from Adam, bringing me into the group and kind of really, at the time, I felt it was. Not just introducing me, it was going, hey, yeah, this guy wants to do this. It was
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a, you know,
Encouraging.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so getting involved in the community, did you get involved in the belt ranking system?
No, I'm still so new that I like to think of it in two ways there. I think of instead of picking one lock and claiming the belt for me, especially early, I think I gotta really have a command of yellow before I feel like I'm solidly yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with orange. I've picked a number of orange locks. I don't really claim orange. I am chasing the green belt.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hit that, I'll be a little more serious on following the guidelines, submitting it, doing that kind of thing. It's not the only part of the quest in any way for me, but I do, since we're doing it, and I see other people do it, you might as well add in and be a part of
Yeah,
that corner of this too. Even if
sure.
it's not your only passion, it
Yep.
is some people's, but
Yep.
I want to participate there too.
So before you record your green,
Yeah.
and you have to do a pick and gut,
hmm
make sure if you're using your phone, make sure you fully charge your phone.
Yeah, and that's what's delayed me is I've seen every pick and gut like disaster that can go wrong
Mm-hmm.
between phones, out of camera, springs, flying C clips. Every time I see somebody have any kind of disaster, it records into my head in that get ready for this, it's gonna happen kind of thing. So
Yeah. Once you get the green one down, you'll be fine after that. You'll be doing just fine. So, um, so let's see here. You had indicated that you were interested in. You've been picking some challenge locks, and you also indicated you're
yes,
interested in making them. So,
definitely. Like the couple things that really made me want to more than just like I don't know, record a couple videos of me picking or figure out make a pick whatever that wanted to be a part of like the community aspect of it was one seeing everybody play along with each other in these challenges and the silly ways they were like Nigby Lock Bothering from England chose his challenge winner all these ping pong balls going down stairway into cups, and I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, this is fabulously silly and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted in on that. That's what made me want in that right there. And I didn't even remember it was him. I had to ask, and I love the guy now. And they were like, oh, that was Nigby. And I was like, oh, wow, I don't remember. And then the other thing was the challenge locks. It was so interesting to me to see everybody send these around and put work into making them and the themes and how exciting it was to watch. I was watching people spend 25 minutes on a challenge lock on a
Mm-hmm.
video, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yep.
But it, it it's so interesting, and so it's a two-sided thing. It's trying to pick them, it's trying to make them, or trying to facilitate moving them around. So I like both sides of it. I'm only I'm still, again, I'm barely orange. I'm picking some pretty easy ones, and I'm fighting at any ones that are higher than me. But I'm fighting at them. I pick them up. I'd spend.
I've got a handful more for you to take with you when I leave today. So.
That is what you said, and I saw the lab that you make them in, and that's like the most. Other you and Jay Gabriel saying those words to me are terrifying. So,
Well, they're not my challenge locks. I'm passing them along.
oh, then that makes it,
I've picked
yeah,
them, and they're ready to go out to their next stop, which will
excellent.
be you. So, and then you'll share them from there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've
So,
got actually a really solid like group of guys that, and when it comes to sending things out and getting things to pick, Loki and Otter and Adam and Sadistic Picker and all these guys are, I've already assembled that little circle of people that I can trust to send things out
hmm
and not worry about it. So feel good about that.
so let's talk about your channel a little bit.
Okay.
So it's you said it started out as gardening,
Yeah.
and then you kind of took it from there. So how exactly did you get going? And you've got quite a few subscribers.
Yeah, yeah, I mean I can't explain it. I don't I just I kind of found a little groove. Well, let me go back. I'm a hobby collector. It's a question that you asked, what hobbies you have, and I've been learning skills and hobbies my whole life. I was a magician. I was a juggler. I did balloon animals, basketry, loom knitting, carpentry, demolition.
Oh
Like
wow,
fireworks, pyrotechnics. So I've learned and done
a little bit everything.
a little, and so whenever I do something, I tend to bring all those things in.
And share it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of combine them into the thing I'm doing. Yeah,
I didn't put together what SeeStuDo meant until I started watching some of your videos.
right,
I'm like, he does a lot of different things, and
right.
he has videos on them, and now I understand where that name comes from. So,
And so, and yeah, and even if it's just I juggle, so I juggle locks. Well, that big deal, but it's locks. I'm playing with locks all day, so I'm gonna, or from the poker chips, I'm doing a little magic, doing a little sleight of hand.
hmm
Southpaw Pete just did a little coin magic on his channel, so I'm excited to see some other people, pull in their other skills,
yeah,
dust off things they used to be able to do, and it's very entertaining on top of to see anyone doing these things. And I saw people playing in all these challenges and doing things
yeah,
left-handed and
or
doing this.
behind their
And
back,
yeah,
and yeah,
and Tequila Dave had a behind the back challenge. I did that, and
yep.
or no, no look, but I did it behind the back. So once I started playing in all that, it unlocked that.
I think Coxie's picks had a behind the back one that he did too.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
well, once I started doing those, it unlocked oh, you can bring magic and juggling and all your
yeah,
other stuff, and
oh
then
yeah,
that's when I started doing the one hand, two in one hand, three in one. And once I kind of unlocked that, and it was, I found a way to play beyond being frustrated with the few locks I had at that time. I was like,
hmm
well, if I can't get in it, what do I have to do?
yeah.
And then I started learning raking. I was like, okay, I can do this a little more, and I started getting good at that. And but yeah, once I started to play, I found all these different and still be messing with locks. I was like, oh, and then that's
Yeah.
kind of, I think, where I found whatever groove I have.
Okay, so what I'd like to get into a little bit is you started Mitten Made Locksport for Vets. Can you
Yes.
talk about that a bit?
Well, we're in the middle of starting it. It's well, one personally, when I got into lock sport, one of the things I connected with other people with and found out for myself was how the hobby and the community are very therapeutic and healing, and they're
hmm
helpful for anxiety, stress, OCD, PTSD. It's a very helpful thing for a lot of people. I wanted to get a locksport group of some sort going, but I couldn't find anybody locally, and I
Yep.
was like, I was going to be into, didn't know you were local. But now it's just me and you at this point, local, until we get more people interested and recruit them. So I figured I had to personally get people involved and interested. And I thought, well, I'll just start traveling around the country and running in and meeting all the lockpickers. That was the only way I was going to kind of do greet ups, And but I've been thinking about it, and I was looking into the different, Tool in Ann Arbor and different places locally and in
Hmm.
other states, and kind of rise and fall. And if you're not in a big city or a big hub, you,
Yep.
you don't have a good chance of having it go.
Yeah.
So that's why I just hadn't started trying. And I was fortunate to have a call with Robert from Covert Instruments or last week. And he gave me a couple minutes of his time, said a couple nice things about the channel. We talked about locksport. And when I got off the call, it knocked it free. He's a vet, had me in that frame of mind. My wife's an activist and a politician and organizer, and so many of the things that they do they find a way to have a corner of it or also do it for vets.
Hmm.
And when you take the time out to tell a vet, hey, we're doing something, a dinner or an event or like it you can see the effect on them a lot of times
Yep.
because in our society they've been left behind at a lot of either at one point or here or there or as time goes as far as health or being remembered or
Yep.
it hits them all in different ways. And it's something that, and there are people that need, a lot of them need help, healing and community and hobby. And so many of the people in the lockpicking community on YouTube are vets. And I'm
Yeah.
communicating with them,
Yep.
finding out that even though I'm not a vet, I have a lot of emotional and damage. I have the PTSD and all those things that I'm dealing with, so I can understand in a way. And we've communicated how this helps us.
Hmm.
And so I had that in my head. I had wanting a group in my head. I told my wife I just got off this call with this guy and kind of explained who he was. And she
Hmm.
goes, well, why don't you start a group for vets?
Yep.
Okay. And then she's helping me do it. So we're starting to run with that. And right away I realized it can't be dependent on 15 guys always coordinating their schedules to get together.
Hmm.
It's got to be fluid and to allow multiple people to come at different times and different
Sure.
places around Michigan. So I'm going to have to be mobile to make that happen. And I also don't want it limited to physical. We have Discord, we have YouTube, we have Zoom,
Yeah.
we have all of these connective tissue things that I'm starting to like find you and find all these guys on.
Yep.
So we're going to utilize that too. And I have a left hand Loki, Nola, Locksport, Mr. Inferno, Adam Harris. So many of my guys are already sending locks, committed to zooming in or whatever you call
That's
it.
cool.
Willing to they're gonna do read, and everyone's done them before, but a lot of people are gonna start doing some just big tips for beginner videos. Tag it in the thing. I can collect them all in a playlist. I'm gonna go search everybody's old stuff for all their old tips and old how to do's, and kind of collect those up and stuff. So we can direct everyone to that, and then I want them to be able to go to people's channels because that's how you see what you can do if you stay in the hobby.
Hmm.
You see what's possible when you see,
Sure.
Lady Locks, or
Yep.
when you see you, or when you see Jay Gabriel making a challenge lock, or someone trying to beat his challenge lock. It helps to see all the different corners of this, the dimple locks, the lever locks, and one of my personal favorite things is that I have friends now, really close friends in England and Croatia and all over the country, and that can again that connectivity we weren't present. We
Yep.
found that online, so we want to wrap all that into this for vet. I mean, will include other people.
Sure.
It's
I was going
definitely
to ask
open.
you
It's
that. Yeah.
definitely open to everybody, but we're targeting vets. It's vet specific.
Sure.
Work either this month or next month. My wife's working to get me in to go speak at a vet to vet dinner, so I can address the heart of a big group in the local area.
Yeah.
I'm at the Moose Lodge every week. We got a ton of them there. My local coffee shop, we have them all over. And they all are connected with vets and other groups and things. So we're networking that way, and I think she's got the Facebook page up, which is
Cool.
really just going to kind of be a signboard. It's not really the activity area. It's kind of direct everybody to whatever's going on and list what's going to happen.
Is it going to be a group or a page?
It's going to be that thing. I don't know what she did.
Because if it's a
Yeah.
group, you could use it to create events.
She
People can sign up
probably.
for
Oh,
it.
she probably did that. Yeah, she probably did that.
I was going to say, if you were gonna tie anything to involving vets and bringing them into something that would be beneficial for them, I cannot think of a better community.
No.
I'm not even talking about just online, but in general, a better community than the people that make up Locksport. It's just-
You're 100. I've been a part of theater, magicians, martial arts, MMA, sports people, both playing and betting and fantasy football. Like I've been a
Yep.
part of all kinds of communities and a lot of great groups, and I've never even seen it, never seen
No.
anything like this. The support, the camaraderie, the ability to like everybody to find your little group within this group, but it doesn't. In most communities, when you have to find your little group to feel you're most comfortable, that takes you out of the bigger group, or it puts you kind of at odds with the other little groups. It doesn't do that in this. Everybody still
no.
stays supportive and connective, no matter what corners that they're in or what groups they tend to stray to. Anytime anyone runs into each other, they're all very supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have rarely run into anybody who isn't a great person, friendly, helpful, willing to really put themselves out there. That really just it describes the community as a whole.
And I actually recently mentioned this to Lady Locks. I think that a lot of that going on comes from leadership, people leading by example.
Yep.
And she's, the first one. I know you and others that have been around for a while, how all that sets the tone for the community, and everyone that comes in, like myself, I came into it and started running into her and seeing all the generosity and the support, and so that's the example I followed.
Yep.
And I was drawn to it because I just wanted to be a part of cheering. I like going to a sports team, a game and cheering the team on. I don't need to go get on the field to
Yep.
enjoy being there.
Yep.
And it felt good to do that. And then just being a part of it, there's no really on the sidelines in this community.
No. So, for people in Michigan,
Yes.
how should they get in contact with you?
Well, we have we're in the middle, like I said, putting it all down. I think we've got the Gmail, so Michigan Made Locks or Mitten Made Locksport at Gmail. There should be the group or the Facebook page. If you search the name, you'll find whatever she's got going on, and we'll do both probably.
Well, share the full thing like when you get back home. And
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
add it
that's
to the video.
definitely, yeah, and
I'll put
it's
it in the
I've
description.
got and then we have the domain name saved, so that's really what we're the hub we're trying to get going. So we're trying to get the website up and going over the next couple of weeks.
So, how can people maybe who aren't in Michigan but are in the lock sport community help?
And I said this in a video, like the basic ways of helping right now, and I've got commitment, I've got boxes of locks coming at me right now
Good.
that are going to be overwhelming, but this is a long-term thing. This isn't just a startup, so we're going to need locks and picks and followers and all the supplies that pickers might need early on and to kind of keep people supplied and going. And we don't want to just help people in Michigan. Like I said, we want to help veterans in Wyoming. If they want to, if they can zoom in and we can help them out, we want to be able to help them out.
Sure.
We're going to need, obviously, material support. I'm going to be running around Michigan trying to get people to donate money so we can get T-shirts and maybe rent a space for a dinner and do all that stuff. So there's going to be fundraising that'll come up, and it's not going to be huge. I don't want that to be any kind of large part of this, but more to, like I said, to be able to provide the space sometimes for the events
Yeah.
and people to come,
Yeah.
and to pay for the server, pay for this, be able to pay for that to make the connectivity happen,
Hmm.
and then provide some things, and then making videos, being available for zooming in for videos or for emails or for Q and
Sure.
A's, for how to or what to get or
If you need
what
any
did I
help
do
putting
wrong.
together a Discord server, let me know.
That's we're definitely that's one of the next steps is getting the Discord server going. I can't navigate yours yet, so like the idea of
Well, that's something I can definitely help you with. So,
although I've been poking around and that's how I found Audible Agent to be able to find my order my voice. I finally ventured into the for sale section
uh-oh,
and started looking through things.
that's a
So
rabbit hole in
yeah,
itself.
yeah, that is scary. My wife doesn't want me in there anymore.
No. So, okay. So, do you have any like thank yous that you'd like to give to any other lock sporters out
It's
there?
I my list is so long. I my first thank you again, Adam Harris, man. Everything I do for this, he's a vet, first guy to jump in. He's my biggest supporter always. Dog picking lock sports become one of my best friends on here. Southpaw Pete, left hand Loki, Otter Arms, Parkinson's picking is just or I'm sorry, Park Street Picking. He's changed his name. We just call him Parky. Is just a saint. Just always there answering any question I might have about restoration or a lock. And I'm running out. Like Jeremy. The list is too long.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think both like who was there for me first. Like Lock Junkie. Like I won his contest. He was one of
Yep.
my first cheerleaders. The people that were there for me first and the people now that are there that I think of every day first, that I interact with first, and
Hmm.
then the big list between the two is huge, and it's all muddled together now, So I have a thank you to everybody that follows me or talks to me or comments or responds when I comment, That's what makes this fun.
Okay. So, last question before we wrap up. And I think I know the answer to this, but what's your favorite thing about lock sport?
Um, it's the community, but for me personally, it's the duality of the hobby is just this never ending. There's so many corners and depths, and then on top of that, there's so it can take all of your mind and all of your for as many years as you want to put into it, and you're gonna still discover. That's my favorite kind of thing. It's like
Hmm.
when I got into magic, there was no end to that.
Yep.
Um, and then but coupled with the support in the community. I don't like to do stuff by myself.
Hmm.
I like to learn. If I want to juggle, I want to juggle together. I want us to juggle between ourselves. Come up with stuff together. Um, I like to see what people do as much as show people what I do. I'm
Hmm.
excited when people have success of any sort,
Hmm.
or when they're happy that they did something, even if it's the same thing they've done a ton of times, but they're happy every time they do it. I'm happy for you. So um, having those two together has allowed me to be my best self.
Hmm.
Um, Part of me that I thought was gone forever is like woke up again. And my wife says it. She said, "I have my husband back,"
Hmm.
and um, I I have fun again.
Yeah.
And I could have it for a moment or a night or an
Hmm.
event, but like I'm in that. That's
Something
me.
to look forward to every
Yeah,
day.
and all day long.
Hmm.
It's and I'm having fun in my head while I'm thinking about it,
Hmm.
and while I think about what the funny joke that Loki said to me yesterday in an email or in a comment or I'll think I'm having fun thinking of my comeback. When I get back on YouTube, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get him. Like
Hmm.
so, it's a running fun. I'm in that mode, and it like I said, I thought it was dead to me. I thought it was gone,
That's cool.
and it's given me a place to be supportive. I love to be a cheerleader. I love to be a teammate. It gives me a place to be supportive and try to help and
Hmm.
um, and I've gotten into that realm and started to figure out how to be giving and supportive in more material and fundamental and ways that might matter for people. Not in huge ways, but even in small ways to move them towards what they want to do.
Hmm.
If I'm gonna cut some blanks for handles out of the hardwood. I have some locally grown hardwood. I'm going to cut blanks out of handles, and I'm going to send it to Greg Chevalier in Australia. He makes picks.
Okay.
I think he makes beautiful picks. I want him to have my locally grown wood. I'm not going to end up using it. I don't want to pick out of him. I just want to see him use that and make beautiful picks out of it. You know, I want to not just the lock picking. You know, whatever hobbies.
You want to see him turn it into something.
I want to support the people behind the channel too. You know, and the things they do. So, and I think that's what I can do with my channel wherever I get to, and that's what I love about this community. But I love about locksport, because locksport allows the community to be, and the community allows locksport to be, you know, that duality. So that's what I love about it.
Okay. So is there anything you'd like to say to our audience before we sign off?
Just to thank you. As I said, you've given me back something I thought was gone, and I'll finish there because I don't want to cry right now. So yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you because it's been awesome getting to know you. I've never had the opportunity really for anybody I've interviewed to meet them in person. So this was a special treat for me, and it was awesome to be able to do this in studio.
That's great to find out that when we were coordinating doing the pre-interview, to find out that we not only lived in the same state, that we were local, was just a joy. I was like, oh my goodness, there's a local picker. I was like, someone who feels this, you know, addiction to this thing, like, will understand, you know.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so again, thank you. This has been a ton of fun, and I've really enjoyed getting to do all of this and do an interview in person. This is the 77th episode, and this is the first time I've ever had a chance to do this, so I appreciate that. Thank you for that. And what I want to put out there is a message to everybody that listens to these interviews. Step forward, get interviewed. You don't have to be a black belt. You don't have to be somebody that is, you know, ultra accomplished and so on and so forth. You can be just a picker that enjoys locksport, and that's really the part that comes out, we hope, in these interviews. And the part I want to convey is that we all want to know everybody else in the community and what they're about. So, and that's what these interviews are about. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap this one up. If you are already a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thanks for listening.